All right, we're checking to see if this is working. It looks like things are. I need to fix my glasses after I do this here. All right, looks like we're back. What's up, y'all? I appreciate y'all being patient with me. I'm sorry for missing a lot, but we're finally back. So give me 1 second here. So I gotta fix my glasses to get them all on straight. All right, 1 second here. All right, we're up and rolling. What's up, y'all? I sincerely apologize. I've missed a lot. I am very much aware I missed a lot, and I sincerely apologize for missing all these games for post-game streams. I never like doing it, but I had to unfortunately just take care of myself, and hey, we're back now, which I'm happy that we're finally back here, covering a Bulls game finally for once. It's a lot has happened. Christmas has happened. New Year's has happened. The Bulls got fully healthy, and the Bulls completely lost their 40% of their starting lineup during my time I was gone. So we got a lot to kind of discuss here, but I will just kind of say that I am going to try to keep things brief. I'm still not 100%. I will go into a little bit of what's been going on with me in a little bit here, but I just want to say thank you all to just being patient with me. I'm so sorry. This is my big apology for missing some time here, but I truly do apologize, and you know, I've apologized also to OnTap for having to miss some time, but hey, I'm finally back here. So I really do hate missing all these games and stuff and missing post-game streams, but it was definitely necessary for me. So I'm sorry, but I'm happy to be back. Bulls unfortunately lost this game, which I think they should have won this one easily, but we will talk about this one as well. What's going on, Ryan? What's going on, Box? I see y'all in chat. I appreciate y'all coming back to the return stream. I sincerely do appreciate that, honestly. I didn't watch. I don't blame you. This game, the second half of this game was awful. The second half of this game was disgusting. By both teams, not just the Bulls, by both teams. Like the Hornets are, yeah, man, they have some things going on that I'm just like, yikes. But Happy New Year, Duck. Happy New Year to you guys as well, man. I appreciate it. Oh, this year brings you good health, happy moments, a bit of luck we need the most. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Luckily for me, I have finally gotten healthy. I think it was actually a New Year's Day that I was finally starting to turn a corner. So maybe the New Year's a good sign for me. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the world that is not good. But maybe for myself, I can get a little bit of luck here. Melo's shoulder charging into Smith really changed the trajectory of the game. Every fucking time we lose someone mid-game, the morale instantly deflates. Oh, yeah, I completely agree. After that Smith injury, man, oh my god, this Bulls team just died out there on the court. I was shocked to see just how bad they started playing because, I mean, here's the thing to me. I even think when the Bulls went on that, like, 9+ minute field goal-less drought, that they had, I thought they were still getting some good shots. Like, I legit thought that the Bulls are still getting some good looks here. They missed a couple layups, which is not shocking because that's the Bulls. But I mean, I'm watching guys that I'm like, this is a wide open 3-point shot. You just have to make this. And the Bulls just weren't making it. So, you know, shout out to Vooch for coming back in and kind of breaking that drought. But then Vooch started complaining at the end of the game when LaMelo got a steal when the game was like basically over. But like I said this, I started tweeting this out at the end after then that Bucks game where Giannis went ahead and made that dunk. I'm just like, if this really matters to you guys that much about someone going at, you know, the game's over or whatever, but like you conceded, like the Bulls stopped playing, like even on this LaMelo possession here. And if it really matters to you that much that you hate seeing someone and go and put up an extra point or make an extra bucket at the end of the game or whatever, like, go stop them. Like, I don't understand why these guys complain when they're basically conceding whatever happens at that point happens. Like, they basically just said, all right, game's over, we're done, we're not touching this anymore, it's okay. And then they start complaining when they basically allowed someone to go and score an extra bucket at the end of the game. Like, if this is actually such an issue, then go stop them. Like, stop complaining. stop whining, stop, complaining at the end of the game, and stop going up and having these little scuffles at the end of the game when it absolutely does not matter at that point. Like, just stop. Go and stop these guys from scoring a bucket at the end if this is truly such a problem to you. I mean, personally, I don't really care. I know that some people actually like have like a big issue about it, and they're like, wow, like you're punching like a boxer when they don't have their gloves on anymore. And I'm just like, I can't stand it, man. It's just constant complaining from this Bulls team about it that I'm like, you know what? We're good. Like, for me personally, I think it's just ridiculous from this Bulls team to complain when you have every ability to stop that from happening. So I am not a fan of this Bulls team just complaining at the end of the day. Hawks have figured out how to win without Bedard and Nazar, but Bulls get one dude hurt in short circuit. I mean, we figured out how to win without Giddey and White for the last 2 games before this one. So I mean, that was shocking, but yeah, it definitely fell apart once Smith went down somehow. Seriously, the constant bitching and whining from Vucevic while the other team keeps playing till the final whistle is really, truly, deeply embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing from Vucevic. Like, I hate the fact that he's the vet and is like the one that is like, leading the charge and like, oh, I hate, like, have respect for the game or whatever. I'm like, I can make a bigger argument that the Bulls don't have any respect for the game at all because they stop playing when there's still time on the clock. Like, that to me is more disrespectful to the game, is that you stop playing when there's still game time left on the clock. Like, you have to like play until the final buzzer. Like, I think that's just being respectful, and yet you're the ones that are out here saying like it's a respect thing. Like, you don't just go in and up the score or make a last second shot or whatever when the game's basically over. I'm like, okay, well, if this is such an issue, go stop them. Like, stop complaining. And I'm pissed off just seeing like this is the energy that you have at the end of the game when it seemed like you guys were absolutely deflated in the middle of the game. I don't understand what we're doing here. So yeah, I'm absolutely frustrated with just seeing that. But we'll talk about more about this game here. I also do think that we gotta talk about some of the other things, like the Bulls went on they went on like a 5-game winning streak when I was gone, which was very shocking to see. Which I think that kind of shows like, yeah, the Hawks really suck, especially with Trae Young playing. When the Hawks have Trae Young playing, like, they are garbage. The Cavs have also been a disappointment. It was kind of shocking to see the Bulls take both games against the Cavs, but they did. And then the Bulls, of course, lose to the Milwaukee Bucks. So, and Giannis is on a minutes restriction. So, of course, they go ahead and do that. But you get 2 wins against the Pelicans, who you have not beaten all season long, but yet you beat without your starting backcourt. And you beat Orlando, they've actually been kind of climbing in the standings recently. They don't have Wagner, but I know Jalen Suggs getting injured was pretty big in that game. But you beat that team, but then you lose to Charlotte tonight. So I don't understand this Bulls team at all. But we can go ahead and look at some of that stuff. Some Bulls fans get upset when compared to other fan bases and other teams in town. Get thicker skin, my friends. Might be a meatball of me, but so be it. Wait, what do you mean? Like, the players, or are we talking about the fans? Okay, you said some Bulls fans. I do think that some Bulls fans do get upset, and it does frustrate me. But I want to be clear. This is more I'm pissed off about the players. I'm not really pissed off at the fans at this moment in time. I'm more pissed off about what the players are doing, because they're just being ridiculous at this point, in my opinion. Don't lose to the fucking Hornets if you care about the game. Respect. Yeah, exactly. Like, if this is such a big issue, then go win the game, right? If you don't want to get embarrassed and you don't want to, see someone put up a last-second shot when the game's out of reach or whatever and run up the score, and if it's such a big problem, go win this game. You had every ability to win this game tonight. Like, the Hornets played god-awfully tonight, and somehow we're not up by 20 points at all in this game when you were on that field goal-less scoring drought for a long time. Like, the Hornets suck tonight, and you're out here then at the end of the game, of course. Like, of course, it's at the end of the game. Like, you're complaining if you're the players. Like, come on, bro. This actually just like shut up and go and do something about it. You have every ability to stop them. Like, there is no law or rule saying that you do not have, like, you can't go and stop that guy. But we're complaining, so. it just bothers me. I'm like, all right, well, how about you do something with your actions instead of just whining at the end of the game with your words? It's just so stupid, man. Trae Young, negative player value, not gonna lie. How many in Atlanta would care if they moved back to St. Louis? I don't know, honestly, but yeah, Trae Young is just negative value, I think, at this current moment in time. They're significantly better without him this season. It's just odd to see. Fans, I mean, yeah, I do think that there are definitely some fans that deserve some criticism for how, like, because they'll talk about this and be like, they're on the opposite end of the spectrum, like, compared to what I have. Like, they're on, like, no, like, you know, you should be respectful or whatever. I'm like, I just disagree, personally, but, you know, they're fans at the end of the day. Life for Trey sure is hard when he became the main focus on the scouting report. It is interesting to see that, yeah. I was kind of shocked that he closed the game and Io didn't. I didn't understand that tonight. Yeah, well, we have some individual players we got called out tonight, because unfortunately Patrick Williams, who had back-to-back pretty decent games, was a no-show tonight. And I don't understand what Billy's doing, honestly. This run has to be sent away. If they can't draft, can't trade, it won't tank, then how will they get to the promised land? I don't know, honestly. I'm questioning that myself still. Luck? It's basically draft luck, I think, is what they're planning on doing, which is ridiculous. Alright, so let's look at this box score tonight. I think the box score doesn't tell the whole story, as you know, usually it doesn't, but it is definitely a very weird box score overall, and not just like the player box score, but also like the team box score. It is very interesting to look at. So, for reference, the Bulls had 32 assists tonight, and it's very just odd just to kind of see that, because you can see that the Bulls offense wasn't good tonight at all. It was pretty disappointing. The Bulls, you know, they had that horrific third quarter that was just awful, but the entire second half was bad from the Bulls in general. They weren't able to score much in that second half. But they had, in the first quarter though, they had 16 assists. So that's half of your assists in the first quarter, when the Bulls offense was absolutely just rolling, and Io hit a half-court shot at the end of the first quarter buzzer. So, very weird game overall from this Bulls team. Vucevic did a good job against their fourth-string center. PJ Hall is like their fourth-string center, and so, you know, if Vucevic didn't have a good game against him, I would have honestly lost my mind. So this is, you know, I was, you know, basically expecting this from Vucevic tonight. I think Buzelis overall, since Gideon White have been out, I think he has done a good job of taking some more of the responsibility. He did a great job in their Orlando Magic game and in the Pelicans game as well. Tonight he definitely had some struggles, but still he got to 17 points tonight, which is great to see. So I'm overall pleased with how Buzelis has looked in these last 3 games, and I'm happy he's more involved in the offense, which is, you know, finally. Trey Jones, though, has definitely been struggling the last 2 games, and, you know, he had that insanely historical game against the Pelicans where he went 7 of 7 for the field, 20 points and 12 assists. Like, you know, fantastic game from him, but he unfortunately is not able to get the scoring that we're used to seeing from him. You know, he averages about 12 points per game, so this is definitely not been that great for me. He also is just more efficient usually. Io the last 2 games has been very good, and I was very shocked to see that he didn't close the game. I was like utterly shocked to see him not out there on the closing lineup, but instead though, you have Kevin Huerter out there and Isaac Okoro out there closing this game tonight, and I understand that there's some defensive needs out there, but Okoro was awful tonight in my opinion. You know, 0 for 4 from 3-point line. Like, he had some wide open threes, and this is, you know, he was unfortunately part of that group that to me was just like, man, if you just hit some threes, like, the Bulls win this game. But Okoro had some wide open threes, didn't make them. Huerter was awful tonight in my opinion, and I think this is one of those games where the box score doesn't show everything. Like, he has 11 rebounds tonight, which is great. Also 7 assists, which is also good. But, like, if, let's say Huerter got to 10 points and had, like, you know, 11 rebounds, like, this is like one of those double-doubles that I'm just like, this is a bad double-double, man. Didn't hit 3 until late in the fourth quarter. He was 3 of 11 from the field overall. It's very disappointing to see, because Huerter has been struggling a lot from 3-point range in general this season. Like, it's just not up to his standards. He came into tonight shooting 33% from 3-point range, and that's after the Orlando Magic game where he was on fire. So that percentage is going back down tonight, and yeah, a lot of open looks, man. Like, Huerter just has to make these shots. It was very disappointing overall to see that he wasn't making some of these shots, that I'm just like, yo, bro, like, you gotta make these, man. Patrick Williams was absolutely just atrocious tonight. Somehow in 15 minutes he was negative 14. And was 0 for 7 from the field. He had wide open 3-point looks tonight, did not convert on any. He also got blocked by Colin Knippel on a 3-point attempt because he took too long to get his shot up. Just disgusting overall to see. So not happy about him. I unfortunately understand that he was like then relegated to backup center when Jalen Smith went out, and he's just not, he is just definitely not built for that. Like, I do not want Patrick Williams ever playing backup center anymore. I am very much against that because he can't make his twos. So if he can't finish around the rim, then he's only a threat from 3-point range. So I do not want him playing backup center. I'd rather Julian Phillips play backup center or something, which is not a better option, honestly. It's like not that much better, but it's just like I don't want P-Will playing. So, 2 good games, I guess you could say, from Patrick. I would argue the only good game was against Orlando, but disappointing tonight. I'm very disappointed by him. I'm also just disappointed overall by Billy Donovan's decisions tonight. Like, I think that first and foremost, Dosunmu needs to close this game. I don't understand why he closed with Herter. It makes no damn sense. I would also like Dosunmu over Trey Jones if you could do that. I think that you could have probably arguably played Julian Phillips over Isaac Okoro to end this game also. I mean, Phillips had 4 steals today. Was playing decent defensively. I understand that he's not much better on the offensive end, but I'm just like, hey, Okoro's not really giving you anything on offense. So I would have liked to have seen it, but I understand that, now we have 4 guys out. Roster's getting thin. Tough decisions, but I think that Billy could have done better overall. Yeah, I'm overall annoyed from this game because it's just like you had every ability to win this game, and so you probably shouldn't have won against Orlando, and then this one cancels that one out. But I was just like, yikes, man! Like this was a disgusting game because the Hornets should have been up by 20 plus in the third quarter, and they weren't. So you had every ability to win this, but you didn't. You have to realize this is the promised land for the Reinsdorfs, 8 to 10 perfection. I mean, that is true. Yeah, the front office has achieved promised land for the Reinsdorfs. Yeah, but League hates the Bulls. Also, Jerry hates he doesn't get carte blanche like he has with the MLB. I mean, yeah, man. Never bad enough to rebuild, never good enough to contend. Treadmill team, yeah. It's mad when they rigged the coin flip for the Mavs, which they have their own issues. I don't believe in. I mean, maybe I can believe in the coin flip being rigged. Again, I've talked about extensively that I don't think the lottery is rigged, but I do think that other things you can argue are rigged. The lottery was not rigged, though. I'm going to be hellbent about that. But for anything else, though, I mean, I have a lot of conspiracy theories why the Mavericks, traded Luka and then got the first overall pick. But it's not because the lottery was rigged. It's there's many other things we could talk about, which the coin flip I think is fine. Yeah, Trevor made it almost relevant. Chronically average, pick your poison. Yep. Pacers understood the assignment this year. Tank for Boozer and add that to Halliburton and Nesmith returning next year. I mean, the Pacers also, though, they faced a shit ton of injuries. So, it's also, partially not their fault. But I do agree, though, that they've embraced it. And I'm happy to see that from them. Pascal's still having an all-star caliber season. But they definitely have been pretty awful. And so, yeah, they're definitely trying some new things, which I think is the proper time for the Pacers to do. They're experimenting some things, more Andrew Nembhard at point guard, right? They're trying a lot of the younger guys, and they're trying to figure out, their center situation. So, they're just experimenting, and I applaud them for doing so. And they definitely had the right idea, because they traded to get their pick back, right? Full control of their pick back in this past draft. So good job by them, and I think that they're doing a good job. Truth be told, I don't even trust AKA with the tank because of their incompetence. So I mean, look, I don't trust this Bulls front office either to do a rebuild properly, but I do think that if you do tank and you fall into the top 3, it's not. I'd be shocked if the front office somehow messes it up. So yeah, I just don't. I understand the disdain to this front office. I don't want them doing a rebuild either, but it's just hey, I'd rather us be in the position to get a top pick this draft, even with this terrible front office, versus being where we're at right now with this terrible front office. So it is definitely just a horrific pick your poison type of scenario, but I'm picking the one I think is less poisonous. So this front office is done. Us on the other hand, we just need to find our Siakam and 8 more good players. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yep. Yep. Can't wait for us to find our Siakam, because that's definitely just going to fall from the sky. Defensively, also, this game for the Bulls, man, I actually thought the Bulls defensively were, like, okay. Like, and I actually think the Bulls defensively in the past 3 games have been all right. It's just, yet again, it's just like, oh my god, this team is just, like, tonight was just the incompetence in offense and just not making some shots. So, this is what happens when you have an everybody eats offense. You have to rely on everybody to knock down some shots, and unfortunately, they couldn't do that tonight. At one point, it was between Okoro, Jones, Herter, and Patrick Williams. Those 4 players were 0 for 13 from 3-point range, and where they end up. I mean, Herter they took 7. I mean, that's 12 already, 16, 17. So these guys, those 4 guys, were 1 for 17 from 3-point range tonight collectively. That's just not gonna get it done. For Herter that's played 30 minutes tonight. Okoro played 27. Like, these guys are getting a lot of minutes and a lot of shots, and they just didn't knock them down. So, I overall think the Bulls offense continued to actually move pretty decently, and they found the open man. You just gotta make some looks, bro. That's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. Thor wasn't going to be elected to Michael. I think our GM we had was Kraus. And even Kraus I have some issues with. But, I mean, yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, you're basically hoping for, if, let's say, we were terrible, like, all right, well, at least we're picking the top of the draft, right? They're blowing the Hornets out and choked the lead away and lost the game, plus players due to injury. I do, like, we did talk about this earlier, Woodage. Like, the Jalen Smith injury just sucked the air out of this team. And that's unacceptable from this team to, have an injury and then the air gets sucked out of them. Like, we saw that with the Timberwolves game where both Kobe and Giddey went out with injury, and then specifically the Giddey injury, the Bulls, the offense was actually okay in that third quarter when Giddey went out. It was just defensively, they just absolutely derailed. Like, the Timberwolves put up a 40-point third quarter. The Bulls put up 28 points in that third quarter. That's fine. It's just that you derailed defensively somehow. And so tonight, it was offensively where you just absolutely derailed when Jalen Smith went out, which is just inexcusable. You have to find a way to not let that happen if you're the Bulls. And they, to me, have plenty of guys that can go and make some shots. They just didn't do that tonight. So, they put blame on him for Reiser not wanting to pay MJ, Pippen, and Robin for another couple of years. Kraus destroyed the team. Well, untacted from our trash ownership. Oh, I mean, yeah. Reiser, of course, is always the problem. Kraus still, I have some issues with, but yeah, Reiser, of course, is always the problem at the end of the day. But I always give credit to Kraus for the championships that the Bulls got under him. I do give him the credit, but I also have some issues. Pax was the last GM who actually had a plan for the Bulls. I disagree with that as well. I think that, I guess I specifically am talking about the rebuild that he tried to pull off, because the rebuild that he did when he officially traded Jimmy Butler for Markkanen, Dunn, and Levine, like, that was a horrible trade. The fact that you didn't keep your 15th overall pick in that trade also was stupid. And the fact that you started a rebuild with no extra picks besides your own is also really stupid. Hence what the Bulls are still doing right now. So, if we're talking about the rebuild with Paxson, like, I disagree with that was a good overall plan. Like, that was also a terrible plan. Luckily for him, Levine turned into an all-star. I know that some people never believed in that. I didn't believe in that initially, but he turned into one. But can you imagine if Levine didn't turn into that? Like, how horrific would that have been for the Bulls if Levine didn't turn into an all-star for that rebuild? Like, it would have been absolutely atrocious. Yeah. Taking after a dynasty definitely scared Reiser for doing it afterwards. I mean, I'm sure the money was awful for them during that time compared to their amazing years. Pushing media into rage baiting people to dogging Kraus, Rose, Butler, Levine, this ongoing tactic. Yep. Other scapegoats, of course. Also saying to a large chunk of the fan base, Pax admitted he couldn't do the job anymore. Oh, he definitely admitted it to it, but I also do think that, like, yeah, he admitted that he couldn't do the job anymore, but, like, yeah, hey, I'll zip my mouth. Not the guard packs? Okay, good. I want to be clear about that. Like, guard packs, no. They didn't know what they were doing. I I can understand you saying that Paxson had a plan in those years, but I also have not fully like researched into those years that far, so that's my fault. Or is a what if because how he turned the Nets from worst to two-time NBA finalists. Fair enough. The worst thing that his front office did with ownership's blessing was firing Tiz and bringing away like Hoiberg, then painting Jimmy as the villain for not wanting to play for a nobody coach. I mean, yeah. Hoiberg also just had terrible like overall philosophies, I feel like, as a coach. So it wasn't just like he was a nobody, he was just not a good coach. Gar's not got a GM. With Paxson as vice president of basketball operations, yes, that was a terrible time. Jimmy getting the max definitely had nothing to do with that. Yeah, the Bulls couldn't pay Jimmy the max. They were so pissed off at that. Like, you have to understand, the Bulls front office offered Jimmy Butler like 4 years, 44 million or something like around that number or something like that. I don't remember what exactly it was. But then that was the year then Jimmy took off and became an all-star. Like, you have to understand how pissed off they were, that they basically were like, yeah, so like take this. And Jimmy's like, no, like I'm asking for this. And so yeah, if the Bulls just, you know, coughed up that money to Jimmy at that moment in time, then, you know, you'd be paying an all-star Jimmy Butler significantly less money. But you didn't, and then Jimmy became an all-star, which, I mean, honestly, I mean I don't fully blame the front office on like not, you know, going to Jimmy Butler's needs or his demands, but like then Jimmy becomes an all-star, and then you're forced to pay him the max like the next offseason. It's just like, oh, great. Like, they're probably pissed off at that, and so they ran for it with a year or so, or maybe it was 2 years, but they're like, yeah, moving on quickly. AK just doesn't want to be proven wrong, which is why he won't prove the team. Yeah. I fully believe that 100%, that the front office does not want to be proven wrong. I will say though, I have some nasty thoughts coming into my head from these like last 3 games. Now, I do think that the terrible offensive stretch that the Bulls had in this game, like, it definitely, you know, it probably maybe negates some of those thoughts, but I have some thoughts though going on right now that it's really starting to piss me off with some of just an analysis in the Bulls community that I don't really believe is analysis. But like, I think we have to be honest with some of these players right now. And I mean specifically the players that are missing, because the thing that I want to be clear about this is that, like, don't get me wrong, I think Giddey has been the best player for this Bulls team this season, but that does not mean that he's not void of criticism, and I think that criticism is absolutely necessary for him, especially with how he was playing recently before he did get injured. But it is frustrating me how some Bulls fans are saying some things right now. Cause fallacy. AKA years and opportunities to make trades to retool and improve the team, but didn't do anything. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this front office has had plenty of resources and money to go and make this a good team, and they haven't. So, like, yeah, Reinsdorf sucks as an owner, but I've always said this. 2 things can be true. Reinsdorf's a garbage owner, but the Bulls are being allowed to spend up to the luxury tax line every year right now, and many teams do not have that luxury. Many teams have that luxury and actually go build a good team and make it actually an actual playoff caliber team. The Bulls, meanwhile, though, have been spending up to the luxury tax line for many seasons in a row, and they have not built a good team. So that's their fault. That's all on this Bulls front office. That's not on Reinsdorf. That's just on the Bulls front office at the end. And I have some thoughts. Gave Rose the max, got rid of him with a bunch of lies and excuses. Give Jimmy the max, gave Zach the max, rinse and repeat, basically. Yep. Once you give someone the max, though, they're in trade rumors immediately. Okay. Like, once Jimmy Butler got the max contract, he was immediately, oh, the Bulls might trade Jimmy. Like, boom, like that. Happens that fast. Okay, what would you do differently offensively tonight? I don't think much, honestly, tonight. The only thing I would have maybe done was that I would have not played Kevin Huerter so much, and would have relied on Trey Jones and I would assume his dribble penetration more compared to having Huerter take some shots tonight. But in terms of what the Bulls have done the last 3 games, like, you know, you're missing your backcourt, like, they've done well. They've done well in offense. And even tonight, like, I'm just like, you just didn't make your shots tonight. Like, just make some shots, bro. I wish Billy would stick more with double big. So, interestingly, I am not a fan of the Jalen Smith-Vucevic double big. I think that the Collins with with Jalen Smith has been good. That's been better than I have expected. But I'm gonna look at the numbers right now, honestly, because I'm interested here. But the double big with Jalen Smith and Vucevic to me is not that great. Let me see if I can pull this up here really quickly. Oh yeah, that. Well, look at the stats actually when it's both those players on the floor together. Players, okay. That is Charlotte. I meant Chicago. That is also Charlotte again. Are you serious? Sorry, stats are loading. They always take the player's value, and after the fact, they're trying to find a good trade for said players. They keep should be on disability checks. Yeah. I won't go that. I'm not gonna say that because like I do think that that could be hurtful towards certain people. Okay, let's see here. What? This is just wrong. Wait, that's Charlotte. I meant what the? Hold on. Run these numbers again because very clearly it didn't take. Here we go. Finally. Okay. Honestly, this has been pretty good. So this has actually been very solid, these two together. So I guess this is just definitely more me hating on it than me like really singing. Now it is compared to just sample size matter. Like it is not exactly the best. Like it's a small sample size right now, but Jalen Smith's been better compared to Vooch on the floor. But yeah, this has actually been a lot better than I thought. So maybe. It is definitely interesting to see it starting and then like it like gets taken away immediately, which is probably the reason why like I'm not exactly the biggest fan of it. But yeah, it's done its job so far. Let's see here. I'm interested in then let's take away Vucevic. Let's see with Collins. Obviously with these two, I just feel better about the rim protection overall, and like these two have been pretty solid together as well. So yeah, I guess Billy needs to actually start running this more overall, but you have to have the right guys out there as well, and it can't just be like a bunch of just defensive nobodies out there. But you have to make sure you run these guys in the proper lineup. Oh, you can convince me our front office are not mentally challenged. I can agree with that. I just don't want to say disabled because like there's that work could be taken in a certain context. Most disabled people are better than AKME. Oh, I agree. I agree with that, yeah. Not trying to be POC or trying to play down people with real problems. I'm just trying to point out that Promise can't be just dumb. Oh, I mean, they're definitely just dumb. Like, I think that it's not only are they just dumb, like, they really do have some, like, egotistical things going on inside their heads. So if we want to talk about it, like, that way, like, they're dumb and also, like, heavily egotistical about the way that they think. So I'll be on that train for sure. And the way that they look at the game, I just heavily disagree with. it's just the facts at the end of the day. But all right, let's get back to this. So my bad. I thought that the Smith and Vucevic lineup wasn't working so well. It's probably just because of the bad start against Orlando the other night. But yeah, this has worked out well with all these bigs. Let's look at Jalen Smith and Zach Collins here. Or sorry, Zach Collins and Nikola Vucevic together. This is very small sample size, and so this has worked out well so far. I beg to differ that it's going to be this successful, obviously, but it's worked out well so far. So maybe we'll see more of it. I am definitely though concerned more when it's Vucevic and Smith together, just moving forward. Like if Zach Collins is out there with Vucevic, I can kind of live with it. My only just concern though is just like I'm very concerned of teams just starting to exploit this matchup soon, where you're gonna be seeing Jalen Smith put into like a lot of pick and rolls with like some of the perimeter players. But right now, if you can get away with it, I'm all for it. If it works out moving. Jalen Smith's always great minutes. His numbers are insane for the minutes he is playing. One of the best pickers we've had. Oh, he's been very solid. Yeah, he has been very, very solid for this Bulls team in his time here. I'm very happy with him. I'm very, very happy. Pretty sure Phoenix drafted him in the lottery of 2020, right? Yep, that is. I believe it's Phoenix. I'm pretty sure it was Phoenix. Yeah. Yeah, he's been very, very solid. I'm happy with what he's done. Unfortunately, I'm gonna assume it was a concussion tonight. It was very sad to see him go down. Yeah, I'm assuming it was a concussion tonight, so hopefully he'll get through that. If I'm not mistaken, though, I feel like this is the second time Jalen Smith's been in concussion protocol, though, on the Bulls. So, hope that things are gonna be okay for him, because like once you get that second concussion in like a span of like two years, like I get, it's a little bit concerning, but hopefully it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay though. Okay, let me go and talk about a couple things here when it comes to this backcourt right now, because like here, the reality that I don't think some Bulls fans want to just look at when it comes to what's happened recently, okay, with the backcourt being out. So reminder, both Giddey and White left in this game, okay, and especially when Giddey left the floor, it was just a tragedy on the Bulls floor. And it wasn't necessarily the offense initially. The offense in that third quarter when Giddey left, like, it was fine. It was that defensively the team just like seemed deer in the headlights and lost, and that was for the rest of the game. And then obviously offensively in the fourth, it got derailed. But then the Bulls go and face this New Orleans Pelicans team, and they haven't beat this team all season long, okay? And to be clear about a previous matchup against this Pelicans team, because a lot of people, there's one person on Twitter that was telling me that the Bulls were missing a lot of guys against the Pelicans in previous matchups. I want to just go ahead and be clear about this. That is just utterly false. The Bulls lost to the Pelicans earlier in this month, and the only player that was missing was Ayo Dosunmu. Okay, like that was the only guy that was significant that was missing besides Asenge, that was missing from the lineup in this game. Okay, and this was the game that Zion came off the bench because he's on a minutes restriction for coming back. Okay, the Bulls were fully healthy this game. They just lost. Okay, only player missing was Ayo Dosunmu. But you look here, starting lineups here. Okay, Giddey, Kobe, Vucevic, Buzelis, and Okoro. They're all here. Okay, Herter's here, P. Will's here, Trey Jones is here, Jalen Smith is here. Okay. The Bulls just absolutely just sucked in this game, okay? I don't want to hear that, oh, like, we were missing guys or whatever. No, you lost this game straight up fair and square. I don't want to hear about injuries. Like, sorry, I'm not here for it, okay? Now, yes, in the first matchup between these two teams, okay, yeah, the Bulls were missing guys, but still, no one's going to feel sorry for you, okay? I don't want to... Like, at the end of the day, like, the Pelicans were also missing guys in these matchups. So, but you still went out there and gave a horrific defensive effort. Why is it not showing up? Me here? Oh, it is here. Yeah. And you decided to give up 143 points in this game. So, you still had Giddey, White, and Buzelis in this game. Yeah, you didn't have Vucevic. I understand. You didn't have Zach Collins, obviously. But you were winning games before this. So, I just think that it's just utterly false just to say like, oh, the Bulls are missing a lot in these previous games. No, they weren't. Okay. Meanwhile, though, the Bulls then decide against the Pelicans that, oh yeah, like, we're good, and we go and beat this Pelicans team with 40% of their starting lineup out. So, and you're also missing Zach Collins for this game. So I would argue you're missing more in this game, and you won this game, and the Pelicans had Zion playing full throttle in this one. So. No Jose Alvarado due to suspension, but still, like, you're missing 40% of your backcourt, and you won this game. And so then you go and beat Orlando then, obviously, yesterday, which was a very solid win by them, by this Bulls team. And, we saw Buzelis go and have a phenomenal game. Kevin Huerter had his great game, obviously. But very solid overall game from Buzelis and Huerter to win this one. Here's what I just want to be clear again, okay? I'm not here to be like, oh, the Bulls are better without Josh Giddey and Kobe White. I'm not here to say that. But I do think that there are certain things that can be applicable to criticism here. And specifically what I'm talking about is the turnovers, okay? So the Bulls against the Magic here, they had 12 turnovers, okay? The Bulls then, I'm just going to go to this just because it's easier for me here. But the Bulls against the Pelicans, okay, they had 9 turnovers, okay? But let's just look at previous games just like really quickly, okay? Bulls against the Milwaukee Bucks, 15 turnovers. Like, it's something that I was just kind of paying attention. I think the Bulls did a good job in this game. So they won against the Philadelphia 76ers with take care of the ball, right? But then even in these wins against Atlanta, against Cleveland, against all these guys, right? Like, these turnovers are racking up. 16 in that win against Atlanta. Now, again, Atlanta's garbage. But then you remember this game, this matinee that was just ridiculous? Like, Bulls had 12 turnovers in this game. Right, yeah, Bulls had 12 turnovers in this one. But your backcourt was struggling to take care of the basketball in these games. Like, it was rough overall. To specifically talk about it, like, Giddey in his 3 previous games for that Minnesota game, he had 16 turnovers in 3 games. Like, that's ridiculous. And for a player that I understand that he's gonna have the ball on his hands and he's gonna, be susceptible to some of these turnovers, you can't have that many turnovers. Like, that is an insane amount of turnovers to have in a 3-game stretch. And it's been something that I've just been kind of keeping an eye on. If you look at the turnover distribution between everybody, okay, Giddey is at the top with 3.6. This is too much, in my opinion, still. Like, for a guy that's not going to give you a lot of points, this is too much in general, okay? Kobe is also too much right now. Like, he's also not in doing good job at scoring-wise overall. His efficiency's down. But his turnovers are not even from just trying to make passes. His turnovers are just bad turnovers, okay? But they're both basically averaging 3 or more turnovers per game. And just to quickly look at Giddey's recent just games, just to kind of look at it really quickly, like, there was a lot of turnovers before that Minnesota game, okay? Like 4, 5, 7. Like, this is ridiculous, okay? The Bulls were winning in, Atlanta, Philly, or whatever. But, like, this is not good. So I do think that the main thing that I'm taking note of, and to go to Kobe here really quickly, like, the main thing I'm taking note of with these guys out is that the Bulls are taking care of the ball much better without these guys. I think it's a valid criticism for these 2 specific players that if you're going to be handling the ball moving forward, okay, like, you have to take care of the ball better. Just to harp on Kobe a little bit, because he was also having a rough stretch, but like 5 against Milwaukee, he only had 1 against Philly, but he had 7 against Atlanta. Okay, like, this is ridiculous. I can't see these numbers from you. I understand Kobe's like trying to, like, get back into shape and everything and whatever, but like, these are high numbers of turnovers from the backcourt, and for a team that has talked about specifically that we cannot lose the possession battle because we do not have the talent to make up losing the possession battle. You turning it over this much is it's just an insane amount. Like, this is just unacceptable, and it is heavily hurting this Bulls team when you decide to when you turn it over like this. And especially recently with Giddey's bad passes, like, he's making some sloppy passes recently that I've not been a fan of. Now, meanwhile, though, the Bulls, like, they're finding ways to, and since their absence, like, guys at most maybe have like 2 turnovers. I know Buzelis had 3 tonight, but it's been pretty, like, solid across the board in terms of taking care of the basketball. Buzelis had 3 turnovers tonight, but, like, Trey Jones, like, I understand he had a good game, but he had 1. Dosunmu had 2. Like, it just is a little bit eye-opening to me. But with these guys out. So again, it's not me trying to be like, oh my god, the Bulls are better without these guys. Like, Giddey's been the best player for this Bulls team this season. Now, Kobe, on the other hand, has had a rough go. I've been very displeased with how Kobe has played this season. But either way, with between both those guys, the turnovers need to cut down. And I'm hoping that once they come back, that they're gonna be looking to take care of the basketball better. And I think it's gonna be a good thing to start looking at. Are you concerned about potential CTE? Not necessarily CTE for Jalen Smith. I'm more concerned about how long the concussion is going to take for him to kind of recover. I know that football and basketball are 2 different sports, but Jaquan Brisker for the Bears, he's our safety. Last season, so not this current season, but last season, he was out for a while. And it's because I don't know if that was his like 2nd or 3rd concussion he had in like a 2-year span, but it went from him being like, oh yeah, he got a concussion in his most recent concussion, like it was his last year, and he basically went from like mid-season, it was like, okay, yeah, he'll be out for maybe like this week and maybe next week, to that he was out for the rest of the season because he just couldn't he just couldn't recover from it fully in that time span. And it's just because, you know, the brain's gonna just, once you take a couple beatings to it, it's just like, it just takes longer time to recover from it. So I'm not necessarily worried about CTE for Jalen Smith. I'm more worried about just the recovery time for him, because I'm gonna double check here. I do believe this is his second concussion with the Bulls. And so I'm just a little bit concerned about him just like moving forward. It's just like, yo, like, I hope he's gonna heal fine and everything, but I am just concerned a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, so in February 2025, he had a concussion for the Bulls. So yeah, this is his second concussion. This is actually his second concussion is within a year here. So yeah, that's just my only concern about it. I don't think he had any concussions before that. Yeah, it looks like he didn't have any concussions before that. So, yeah, that's all I'm just concerned about. So I'm just paying attention to this. Like, again, not saying CTE. I'm more just concerned about recovery time because, you know, multiple concussions in a time span. Because I have a cousin who used to play soccer, and she would get concussions constantly, and whenever she would get one, and of course it was like within like a short time span. It's just like, okay, you're out for a while. So that's just my concern, honestly. Yeah, hopefully Jalen Smith's gonna be all right. I'm hoping for the best, honestly, when it comes to him. Yeah, let's talk the Hornets just really briefly here. LaMelo pisses me off as a ball player. I hate how he plays. he really pisses me off. This is the main guy that the Bulls could not stop tonight, and it was really annoying to watch. Bulls doing multiple defenders at him, like Buzelis to Okoro to Patrick Williams to even Vucevic, like Jalen Smith, and the Bulls just couldn't stop him. I don't know what it is with the Bulls. They just can't seem to stop Miles Bridges. So that's something they need to take care of moving forward. But starting the lineup, though, kind of beat you. Brandon Miller had a good game. LaMelo had made some shots, and Knippel still had 18 points, even though he shot only 4-14 from the field. Yeah, starting lineup definitely just beat this Bulls team tonight, which is not that shocking overall, but disappointing. But that's that. Now, other things I do want to talk about, because we have to unfortunately kind of talk about some things here. We gotta talk about this trade deadline that's starting to loom here, and we have some things. I was surprised LaMelo played. Averaged like 30-something games this season. Yeah, recently he's had a nice little health run, so won't be shocked to hear if he has an ankle issue in like 2 days. But it's been a nice little health run for him. So yeah, I mean LaMelo's been healthy for a bit, so I'm not that shocked to see him playing tonight, but yeah, I guess I'm more shocked that he hasn't been injured recently. Yeah. Let's talk trades, because unfortunately I think we need to start looking at this. I know there's a lot of Kobe White supporters in the Bulls community, but unfortunately, I mean, it's a bad time for the Bulls, to be clear, to be trading Kobe White, but I think that there's potentially something on the horizon here, but who knows? Maybe a lot of teams would be scared off due to injury. But so I'm not necessarily gonna be like talking about a specific trade. I'm more so talking about the value of Kobe White right now, because this is now the third time he's gonna be on the injury report due to a calf issue this season. Okay. So it was initially, again, to start the season, was his right calf was the problem. And that was that kept him out for a while. That had him miss the first 11 games of the season. Okay. Then after he came back, he had issues with his left calf, and he missed a couple games because of his left calf due to tightness, and now it's back to his right calf. And so the MRI, just to update you guys if you haven't heard, the MRI did show that it was not a strain, so that's a good thing for Kobe. So it's not as severe as it was to start the season. However, it is very concerning the fact that you've had to miss all these games due to calf issues so early on in the season already. It is very, very concerning, and to have it now surface again, I should say, after you just played your first back-to-back game of the season, is very concerning. I've talked about this trade, with the Timberwolves, and I know that a lot of people are maybe very much against this sort of idea, but to me personally, I'm all for this trade. But this trade here for the Bulls and the Timberwolves here is basically Kobe White goes to the Timberwolves because that's been a big rumor. Casey Johnson even confirmed it, and it would be for Mike Conley and Johan Berenger. And right now, if I had to make just a guess, I do not think this is going to be available for the Bulls right now. I feel like if you're a Timberwolves, you want to trade for something for a player that is going to be more available to you right now, which is what's killing Kobe White's trade value as we speak. So I'm personally really concerned right now. I'm probably going to have something on the horizon here coming out here about like, okay, if the Bulls are going to be looking to trade Kobe, this is like a very bad time for him to be injured again. And so hopefully the reevaluation goes well for him, but like Kobe's going to have to really be like healthy once he gets back for like a nice little stretch here, if he is potentially gonna be traded, or else the Bulls then are gonna be stuck with him, if they don't plan on keeping him, but they're gonna be stuck with him through the rest of the season, and not sure where you go from there. Kobe also, this is like a nightmarish situation for him because this is obviously last year of his contract, and for him to suddenly now be missing all this time due to injury with his calf issues is like, it is a nightmare scenario. He is right now probably missing out on a lot of money because of this whole situation. So, for all parties involved, I hope Kobe gets back quickly, and can come back and be healthy for a stretch here just to kind of see what we're looking at, because the shooting percentages are very woeful right now for Kobe. I'm hoping that he'll come back and he'll be looking better. Zion's been playing well. Zion has been playing well. If I had to make it just an assumption, I do not think he's getting traded this deadline. I also I don't want the Bulls to trade for him either. I just don't think it's worth it, but maybe my stance will change. And the Bulls are waiting until mid-January to try to get Herb Jones and Zion. Really? I'm very much against the idea. I don't think it's worth it, personally, but I'm willing to kind of look at like or the options. God, Spot Track is really slow right now. I don't know what's going on, but is a reminder to everybody, like, we can't just trade garbage to the Pelicans, okay? Like, that it's something that I had to make this clear. Like, we can't just trade garbage to the Pelicans. So I'm interested in what the deal is then. Like, what do you have drawn up, Woodage? I should probably go after Alvarado for the Pelicans and the point guard, probably the best one available. As much as I love Jose Alvarado, I think that they're looking for someone to like play like starting level minutes potentially. And I don't think Alvarado's good enough to do that. I think they're looking for like a bigger guard as well, to pair next to Ant. Injuries that Kobe probably needs the ball in his hands more than he is getting. He probably feels like he should be in an SGA role. I mean, if he feels that way, then like, I'm happy he's that confident, but he does not deserve the ball more right now with how he's played this season. I'm really hoping that when he comes back, he's gonna kind of fit right into what the offense is doing, but he's had some pretty bad overall games of just making some bad overall shot selection. So it's gonna have to be better from him moving forward. And if Kobe believes that he's that good, then like, him getting traded to Minnesota is not gonna be the place for him, because the ball's in Anthony Edwards' hands there 24/7. So they're looking for a guy to kind of be a combo guard, take some pressure off Ant. But if they are truly looking for a point guard, then I do agree that like Kobe's maybe not the best candidate for that. All right, let's talk Zion. Okay, what are we looking at here, Woodage? So, we have to wait till January 15th for this to get lifted. So, just to be clear, hold on. I'll go to Fanspo for this one. I mean, if we're getting both Herb Jones and Zion, that's basically, it's almost $45 million. So how do you get that if you're the Bulls? So again, he's going to the Bulls. Herb Jones is also going to the Bulls. Also, to be clear, if you guys are wondering about something, I do think Herb Jones' defense is a little bit worse this season than usual. So, just keep that in mind. Oh, sorry, 53 million. My God, I can't math, obviously. All right, what are we looking at? Vooch, Kobe, and Herder, and the Portland pick for Zion, Herb Jones, and Carla. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, Woodage, that is not gonna be enough for the Pelicans. There's no way. There's no way the Pelicans accept that deal. So I'll put it up on screen for you though. That's Vooch, Kobe, Herder, and then Carlo. Best the Bulls got, really? I mean, if that's the best the Bulls got, I don't think this gets done. Like I'm willing to move off of this, but there's just no way this is gonna be enough. Like, Zion's playing too well for you to just accept a heavily protected first round pick that is not in the lottery. Like, I think the Bulls are gonna have to like sacrifice one of these of either 2026 or 2027. Like, maybe it's top 5 protected or something. Like, I think this is what's gonna have to go out, personally. I know this is gonna say failed, but it's just because Herb Jones can't be traded until later. But other than that, this is allowed. So, yeah, I personally think it's gonna have to require one of the Bulls picks, and that's the reason why I'm just pretty much like, for me, I'm just out on the idea, because I just don't think the Bulls can sacrifice any picks right now. Yeah, again, I'm all for the signing that Portland pick right now, but like. And I know this is like 2 first-round picks, but like, if you look at the Portland pick as like, yeah, that's not getting conveyed, then it just becomes a second-round pick anyway. Like, this is basically trading, like, it's trading a first and 1 second then. So it's up to, it's what you value. For me personally, I'm just like, I think this Bulls team is too bad that I think this is not worth it. I also will say, personally, I think the fit overall when it comes to Zion getting onto this team is just terrible. I think Giddey and Zion don't work well at all together at all. Buzelis and Zion will be interesting. I have some issues there as well, though. Herb Jones obviously is a very nice, like, when he's right, like, he could be pretty solid overall as a fill-in spot, but yeah, I think overall I don't like the fit here. Yeah, I'll ponder on this. Maybe I could find a way that I'll be like, yeah, I'm all for this. Like, I kind of like, if you're for like, just instance, like, yeah, if I can add Trey Murphy or something to this deal instead of like Herb Jones, I'd probably be more open to this. But like, you're not getting Trey Murphy. Like, this dude's played too well. Unless you're gonna sacrifice like 2 first-round picks here, like, you're not getting Trey Murphy. So yeah, I'll have to ponder a little bit. I think unfortunately the fit is pretty awful. I mean, that's like Giddey, Buzelis, and Zion. They all really don't really like the 3-point shot that much. Herb Jones also like isn't like the most like volume 3-point shooter. So I'm just concerned about spacing immediately when it comes to that squad, but maybe it'll work. Getting 30 alley-oops to Zion, I mean, like, that sounds nice, right? But Zion, as we've seen, like, he has the ball in his hands a lot when he plays against the Bulls, right? And so I'm just talking about in terms of, like, sharing the ball. Like, Zion wants the ball in his hands. Like, he brings the ball up the floor a lot with the Pelicans. Giddey, though, also wants the ball in his hands, right? So how does that gonna work out? Like, Giddey's gonna have to really sacrifice a lot of his touches to allow Zion to go and ISO and get his shots at the rim. So But then, like, think about it this way. Like, when Giddey decides to drive, right, Zion does not provide any spacing, okay? Zion is not a three-point shooter. He is not a center either. So, like, he can't just be, like, a guy that just, like, kind of sits baseline constantly. Like, that's basically what he does, but, like, you need a center out there that can stretch the floor constantly to make up for it. But like when Giddey drives, Zion's also going to be there. Like that's my point. It's just like they both are going to take up the same space. Yeah, and again, like neither are volume 3-point shooters. Zion doesn't take threes. I mean, Giddey's percentage is good. It's, you know, increased volume this season, but it's not at a high enough rate for me to be like, oh yeah, we can, you know, he'll make up the 3-point shooting weakness overall with Zion's game. So, yeah, I'm personally out. I don't like it. If you could find a way to do this with just giving up the Portland pick only, then I'll be definitely more on board with it. I'd just be like, okay, you know what? Just get the talent. You're not giving up too much in that point, and we'll figure out what to do with these guys later. Like, just get the talent on board. I could be on board with that if you could only just give it the Portland pick and nothing else, really. Like, you know, for example, like as much as people maybe don't like Asenge right now, like I'm not giving up Asenge in this deal. I'm not giving up anything sort of valuable for the Bulls' future right now. So yeah, if I can just find a way to get Zion here with just giving up the Portland pick only, and like, you know, throw in Herter or whatever and Vucevic to get the money to work, and Portland pick in a second, sure, I'm for that. But I don't know why the Pelicans would accept that deal, honestly. But who knows? Maybe Joe Dunamars isn't exactly the brightest person, and he can maybe fleece him. But I find it hard. Quinn Murphy are the future of the Pels. I mean, yeah, that's what they're banking on. Plus Jeremiah Fears. I don't love that core, but it's definitely more intriguing than what the Bulls have right now. I'll say that for sure. Yeah, I will say though, overall, like, I'm concerned about what the Bulls are gonna be doing now at this deadline, because I think that with Kobe's value not being very good right now, and I think he's like the very obvious trade candidate, like I'm very concerned what the Bulls are gonna be looking to try to do instead. So like it's very interesting to see like what Spot Trick is listed as trade candidates. Like I do think Herter is definitely someone to maybe keep an eye on. It's just like, okay, what's a team right now? So like maybe we'll just like kind of go through some teams. Like, what's a team right now that needs, like, the biggest obvious one is the Clippers, right? They need salary cap relief heading into, like, the 2026-27 season, okay? What's a team that we can, like, take a contract off of, and kind of offer some salary cap relief? Actually, the Clippers are not a good example of it. Let's see if we could find a better one. The Magic always come to mind. I just don't know how that's going to work out. The Rockets are in an absolutely terrible spot for this to happen. Okay, let's go back to the Timberwolves again, because that's... boy. Okay. I'll have to do more research, but like the obvious ones, just to give like an idea, for example, is just like, okay, let's go to Orlando, because I think this is something that they might be considering, especially because Banchero has been garbage. But like, you know, we can take like this Jonathan Isaac contract off their books. They'll have to take on, you know, they'll take on like maybe a bigger contract like right now, but yeah, like this is just something that I'm just like looking at as the potential is like, okay, yeah, like we trade Herter to Orlando, which the problem with Herter right now is that he's not shooting it well, and Orlando needs shooting, but you're trading a non-shooter back. But basically though, we take back Jonathan Isaac's contract, and you know, we'll fill in the gaps later, but like the idea would be like, okay, like here's Herter, he's on an expiring. Isaac is on, you know, he has guaranteed money for next season, which then we'll just be absorbing if you're the Bulls. We'll probably waive him pretty quickly, but you'll be absorbing the dead money, but like Orlando gives you like some draft compensation or that, or they'll trade. You know, I've been talking to David about who they trade. Like the obvious player is Jet Howard right now that they'd be trading. Like this would work, for example. Sure, unfortunately the Magic decided to decline this option, so he'll be a restricted free agent, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess this is kind of what we're looking at as like an option here. Again, I don't think the Magic would do this like right now, but just an idea of like what the Bulls could be looking for. When Pelicans were desperate to get rid of Zion earlier, Bulls probably could have fleeced them. See, the thing is though, is in my opinion, I don't think the Pelicans like were that desperate. Like, because the way that the Zion's contract works is like let's say for example, like let's say Zion like he missed he misses a bunch of time early to start the season, and like we find out it's significantly worse than we thought, and like Zion ends up only like, playing like 10 games like for the rest of the season, right? Like his then next year's contract, the amount that's guaranteed is based off of how many games he played this season. Okay, so like I don't think the Pelicans are like that desperate to get rid of him. Like if he has like a catastrophic injury or something, they can basically just waive him. Like they'll have to pay for his contract for the current season, but then the next season though, like the money's off the books for him. So I don't think the Pelicans are like that desperate. Like I understand that there's definitely a moment where like Pelicans were disgustingly bad early, Zion's injured, and it's like okay, like yeah, you can maybe really see them being open to a Zion trade, but I feel like now, especially the way he's come back and played, like he's upped his value again to the point where if you're the Pelicans and you're listening to any teams coming in with any offers, it's just like, yeah, you gotta offer more. Like I need a first back bare minimum plus something valuable for us. Like he's played too well at this point. He doesn't seem like the playmaking point guard for the Pels. I mean, it's still too early for I think to say that, but sure. Bulls have so much experience, but they're all playing like trashless and slash or injured. It seems like, so specifically Herter and Collins, yes. Herter, his 3-point shot, which is probably gonna be his main draw, is not good this season. Collins is just injured. Herter's had some nice moments this season, don't get me wrong. Like he's averaging like 12 points per game or whatever. Like, but recently he's not played very well. Like he needs to start making the 3-point shots. Trey Jones is also a Trey candidate. I think that many teams should be in on him. I know he's had a rough go recently with being the starting point guard, but like I feel like as a backup, he is one of the best backups to have. So I wouldn't mind if the Bulls traded Trey Jones. I know a lot of people would hate it, but I wouldn't mind it personally. If you could get something good in return for him, like yeah, it's worth it. Queen is out, which is why Zion is starting. So I disagree. I think that the plan is for Queen to start next to Zion. Like I think that's the plan. I understand that there's Kevon Looney there and everything, but I don't think Looney was supposed to be the starting center. I think that they're going to be starting Zion still, but they'll be watching his minutes. I don't really see why they wouldn't. Like I don't really see if it really hurts them. Like I understand that injury, but like I mean he's still playing off the bench even if you bench him. Like he's still playing significant minutes, so I think it's fine, honestly. He just had a down year. It's definitely a little bit of a disappointing year from EC compared to what he did last season. So I think he'll bounce back though. He's an interesting player. Not something that I'm like that interested in for the Bulls right now, but he's interesting for sure. I appreciate the talk footage. I appreciate you checking into the return stream and talking trades with me. It means a lot. Appreciate your input. All right, let's look forward here. So reminder, Giddey was left in this game, and we got word that he'll be out. Like he's gonna be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So if you're expecting Giddey to like suddenly come back the next game for the Bulls, it's just not gonna happen. I am very fearful for what the Bulls are gonna be heading into in this next game. If you're looking to maybe win the game, again, I'm all for the Bulls L's right now. Especially now, like unless Buzelis carries them to a victory, I'm not really that interested. Which like you can argue maybe he did that against Orlando, but like I'm not really that interested in winning some of these games right now. But the Bulls will be facing Boston in their next game. Jaylen Brown recently has played pretty well. Derek White's also gotten the hang of things, and Peyton Pritchard is significantly better since his bad start to the season. Boston is on a bit of a roll. They've been on a nice little kind of run here and worked themselves up to the 3 seed now. So a year without Jason Tatum, they're in the East. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Like they've been really solid. So I think the Bulls are gonna get absolutely wrecked in this game. It's because the Boston Celtics just launch threes constantly. The Bulls defense is, I mean, it's better without Gideon White overall, but it's not like anything like great. I think Boston's going to be having kind of a field day, but we will see what ends up happening here. Mata still continues to show flashes of greatness, but no consistency. But he's been consistent since Gideon and White went out. Like he's been consistent. Like these numbers for Matas, like I understand that some of the shooting is not exactly the greatest, but like the shooting percentages, but like he's been consistent since those guys went out. Like he's done everything well. But yeah, like, you know, maybe actually running some pick and rolls for him is not a bad decision. But like, so since this is the first game since Giddy and White went out, like he's done well. Like 19 points, 6 rebounds in all of them. Like he had 7 assists in that Orlando Magic game. Like, yeah, like this is solid. So he's in every single game he's had at least 17 points and 6 rebounds in all of these games. In these last 3. So please keep feeding this guy minutes. I am totally fine with him not shooting the best from 3-point range if he just continues to launch them. I understand that the 3-point shot has been inconsistent this season, but I'm just happy he's taking them, honestly. Like he's willing to take these threes. And yes, I would hope that the percentage is going to find a way back up, but like this has been good from him. Like I'm overall pleased with what I've seen in these 3 games from Buzelis, and I'm more so pissed off at Billy because I'm just like, look, like this guy can do this. Like he can handle the ball a bit and run the offense for a possession or so. Like give him the ball some more. Like you don't need to do this just because, oh, like now you're forced to do it suddenly because no one's here. Like you can also do this when Gideon and White are also playing. Like it is okay to give Buzelis some pick and roll opportunities and make sure that he can, you know, have some downhill actions. Like it's a fine thing to do. I also would love to see it more because it puts Buzelis in the best position to succeed. And I feel like he's had, like, honestly, the most growth in these last 3 games where I'm like, yeah, like you're finding ways. Like he had an in and out dribble against Knipple today where he drew the foul. Like that was great to see. He also had a pull up 3-point shot that was basically an ISO today. Like that's awesome to see. This is the stuff I need to see from Buzelis, and I don't think it's necessarily him right now that is the problem. I think it's Billy Donovan still that is just like, oh, like we're only doing this because like we're forced to do such a thing now because we don't have our 2 main ball handlers. I'm like, okay, well, go and do this again. Like I don't know, I feel it's totally fine. And again, to all the people that were questioning about like what is my expectations for Buzelis this season, I'm like, he's met them. Like what Buzelis has done this season is exactly what I had in my video that I wanted, which was 14 points per game. And I think I said 1.3 blocks per game. I never remember what it was, but it would put him in the top 15 in terms of blocks per game, and he's done just that. He's improved his shooting percentages overall. I know that this is still lower than last season, but it's okay. You know, he's increased his rebounding and he's increased his blocks per game. Like this is exactly what I've looked for from Buzelis this season. He's hit these marks. I think people just have like this, you know, they thought like he's gonna come in and like this season just develop into like an all-star suddenly, but like I was not expecting that. So I'm personally fine with what he's done. I just want more because I feel like he's done this in being limited or relegated to the corner on offense. What can you do when you're not relegated to the corner? And he's averaging it. He's scored at least 17 points per game, and had at least 6 rebounds in all these games. And, you know, is averaging about 19. Like, this is good. So I hope to see this more. So for this next game against Boston, I think that Buzelis is going to be very key. I think that he needs to find ways to penetrate the defense because the Boston Celtics don't have much rim protection right now. But they do have great perimeter defenders. So I think Buzelis is going to be very key to get some interior scoring. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if Jalen Smith's out. But I would avoid playing Vucevic as much as I can. But we might not have a choice. And I think that the guards and Dosunmu, Trey Jones, Herter, like these guys are going to be very crucial because you're going to be facing a lot of perimeter guards against the Boston Celtics. So looking forward to this game. I am going to be back in doing post-game stream for this game here. So be here on this channel. So 6:30 p.m. Start is the start of the game, Central Time. And so 9 p.m. Central Time on this channel for Bulls post-game. All right. So glad to be back, y'all. I sincerely appreciate all of your patience with me. I'm so sorry for missing all this time. But to be clear, what was going on with me, I had just this. I've had sinus infections before in my health history, but this sinus infection, I don't really know what exactly happened, but I initially thought it was just a migraine. It turned into a sinus infection, or we found it was a sinus infection, but yeah, man, I had it. I took an antibiotic, and I was given an antibiotic. It just wasn't doing anything. And so, unfortunately, with this sinus infection, it came with dizziness, blurred vision, like my vision's like not focusing at all, constant just feeling like I'm not balanced, and a lot of just like you just need rest. And like right now, honestly, like as I'm talking, like I'm pretty tired still. I had to change antibiotics. It's working better. This one's working better, but I'm still having some effects, like even during this stream, like my right eye is watering, and that's just kind of how it's been, unfortunately. So I sincerely do apologize. I missed a lot of time, and it wouldn't have just been smart for me to come out and stream, because I'd sound awful and I'd be probably dizzy and confused of what's going on. So I'm sorry for missing a lot of time. Unfortunately, just as I kind of still recover here, I probably gonna have to miss some more streams, but I will be doing my best. But like I said, for this Boston game, I will be here. So 9 p.m. Central Time for this Boston game, Monday, January 5th. So looking forward to that stream with you guys. I sincerely appreciate y'all tuning into this return stream here. It means a lot that my community is, still tuning in, even though I missed 3 weeks of play and 3 weeks of streaming, but it means a lot. So I sincerely appreciate it. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope this year is going to be good. I know that there's things going on in the world right now that are ridiculous, but hope this year is going to be good. And looking forward to talking more basketball with you guys later. All right, y'all. Bulls lost to the Hornets tonight. We'll be back here on Monday, talk Bulls versus Celtics, and I'll see you guys then on Monday. All right, peace out, y'all. Stay safe. All right.